2v2 on Crossing in the Woods. Got another request. This should be a good one. It's going to be iPe7er and a Finnish name that I know I cannot pronounce. Tomppelisusi. That's my best attempt. I know I'm pronouncing the last half of his name correctly. Versus Zomby and Duke. We've already got Advanced Warfare chosen. Again, kind of wriggling its way into the metagame here. We don't see it that frequently, but we still see it a lot more frequently lately than, I don't know, you might otherwise expect. I guess there's just something popular about having access to the single T-34, Sturmovik, maybe Conscript Repair, Conscript Assault, I don't know. Maybe that radio intercept. Something about it that just makes it more popular lately. Over guard motor coordination, and I think it's kind of hard to give up Mark vehicle. And the double column is just really powerful, but for whatever reason, we're seeing this commander so much more frequently. The Axis have already chosen both their commanders. We're going to see fortifications and close air support. Close air support is now much more popular now that it's much more easily obtained.
Return fire! Return fire!
So, not nearly as surprising to see that as it once was, when very few people had that commander. So the only person who has not yet picked his commander 2 minutes into the game is Duke, who will have the option of Lend-Lease, Counterattack, or Shock Rifle Frontline.
Grenadier are on the line.
Engagement's happening for the right side. Neither fuel point has been captured yet. The Soviets are about to take the left here, but they're under a lot of pressure, especially from this Kuba wagon. In fact, Kuba really needs repairs. Doesn't want to lose that just to conscript fire from the front. Sturm Pioneers here on that retreat path will secure a squad wipe. Nice play there by iPe7er. Duke's going to need to be a little bit more careful. Losing a squad of conscripts isn't really the end of the world, but when it happens so early in the game, it really makes it hard to secure territory, and especially since that's happening on the Soviets' own side of the river. If they were to lose control of that fuel point, they are going to be in so much trouble. The Kuba wagon does need repairs, though. It's effectively been forced off the field for quite some time until it can safely get back into range of these Sturm Pioneers, which it really can't as long as he continues to utilize them in combat, which he obviously wants to do to try and get that fuel under his control. I mean, they've already got 7 kills and they've barely even sustained any damage. That's not something you want to take off the front line if you can avoid it. And an MG-34 is already making its way to the front line, as well as Mechanized Regiment Headquarters being constructed. Meanwhile, we've also got Battle Phase 1 here from Susi, and Tier 2 from the Soviets. And we're not really sure what this commander is going to be, but no matter what he chooses, it's going to have some kind of late game calling potential. Counterattack is extremely popular on Crossing the Woods, so we're probably going to see that, but who knows.
Fresh conscripts have arrived.
Grenade going into the building will slow the purchase of Panzerschrecks later. But if it means that he will successfully secure this fuel point, it's extremely worth it. And that Combat Engineer squad's been taken out, which will delay Soviet tech as well. 2 grenades, though, is 60 munitions. It's gonna be a while before he can afford a Panzerschreck, which would make an M3 somewhat dangerous here. But at the same time, he's gone mechanized, so he's not that afraid of the M3. Get a flak half-track if you felt it was necessary. But if he decides to skip that and go straight for a Stuka on this map, would certainly be understandable as well. Meanwhile, the Soviets have actually pushed away everything here on the right side. We'll plant some mines and defenses, get this fuel point under control. It's actually quite good for the OKW that they managed to secure the fuel on the left side, losing the one on the right. Kubo's been repaired and makes its way over here to support. We've also got some LMGs on this Grenadier squad. More infantry moving up as well. There's one Maxim available. This engagement looks like it could go either way. Rifle grenade goes out, but since they are in green cover, they take somewhat reduced damage. Combat engineers will be forced to retreat. Not sure those are going to get away, although the grenadiers are too occupied with their flank on the Maxim to try and focus that squad down. Maxim will try to reposition. Another rifle grenade goes off. This could get wiped, possibly stolen. There it is.
One of our machine guns has been silenced.
And he will steal it. Needs to be careful though, he has a conscript squad in his retreat path. Looks like he should be able to get away just fine, and decided that Maxim is worth attempting to steal, especially at this point in the game.
We are losing territory.
Hopefully he'll be able to shut down some conscript squads with that later, and he's also going to try and get the fuel back under his control. Meanwhile, the OKW has pretty much completely abandoned the west, and is now making a push for the center to try to assist his teammate and apply some pressure over here, but it does mean that they're going to lose control of their fuel over there. There it goes, they will get the fuel under their control. And a scout car has hit the field from Susi. And it's quite possible that this will be the highest he techs. It's pretty common to see close air support never go tier 3 or 4. Instead of converting all of their fuel to munitions and utilizing their commander abilities. After inflicting a minor amount of damage with the scout car, I will pull back to try to avoid an anti-tank grenade, and they will continue to maintain control of this fuel point. There is a squad of conscripts over here, though, which is going to need to get pushed away. An MG42 has moved up to screen infantry that attempt to cross the river, and we've also got Soviets getting a little more aggressive here on the left side, having retaken all of this territory unopposed. Should be able to get back across the river and start applying pressure to the Axis from the west. Reinforced wire here in the center is going to be a problem. Flamethrower doesn't do anything to that. Should secure the center victory point for the Axis for a while until tanks arrive. Ooh, field gun gets a huge shot off on that scout car, and it will be destroyed by small arms fire immediately afterward. And we will see some PPSH upgrades here from the Advanced Warfare Soviet player, which is actually going to make them worse at range like this. I actually think PPSH is probably one of the worst upgrades you could get on crossing in the woods. He's going to have to be very clever with his conscripts from here on out. He can no longer engage at long range and cover, and very cost effectively with that upgrade. Look at that, flak emplacement. You don't see one of these very often because it's really just horribly bad. I definitely disagree with this purchase, but who knows, maybe it'll prove me wrong this game. It does, if anything tries to cross this river, it will probably perform quite well against the units in that red cover. Probably won't do anything to units over here. A squad of conscripts could probably just stand behind this truck and clear the thing out entirely. But it is quite well supported, so as long as it doesn't get sniped, maybe you'll get a decent return on investment. And they're not that expensive, so I don't know. Grenade goes off there, doesn't do all that much. Again, he's being very liberal with his grenades. Hasn't purchased a single Panzerschreck yet, although he does have one Rakettenwerfer, so he's gotten a little bit of AT. His teammate also has a pack AT gun, so they have enough to stop an early vehicle. But they're going to need to start massing more as the game progresses. Volksgrenadiers moving up on the flank of this Maxim.
Enemy forces Germans are neutralizing a
We'll start capturing the victory point. Throw yet another grenade. And a Stuka has just hit the field as well. And it should serve quite nicely against these Soviet team weapons. And when you have a Stuka, anti-tank becomes extremely important since tanks are the only thing that are particularly likely to take it out as long as you reposition it after every barrage protected from direct fire. And the very first barrage will clear out that Maxim. Nothing else though. I think he fired blind. And a lot of LMG grens are making their way up towards the center. They have destroyed some of this barbed wire with something. I'm not actually even sure what destroyed that, but okay. Oh, the field gun. Field gun. LMG grens should be able to force them away. Oh, and a rifle grenade detonates the flamethrower.
One of our forward structures has been destroyed.
Wiping out the entire squad.
Enemy fire! Take cover! Incoming HMG fire!
Wow, almost another squad wipe to those LMG grens. Although this Panzerschreck squad should probably get out of there. He waits just long enough for the Maxim to get wiped before retreating. And another Maxim moves into the house here. Grenadiers will attempt to flank around the south. Looks like he's not really sure what to do. He will get suppressed, even in getting cover and forced to retreat. He fires a grenade through the window, but it doesn't really do that much, other than almost destroy the building completely. Armor-piercing incendiary rounds will prevent those conscripts from recovering that Maxim.
Enemy troops.
The anti-infantry strafe is now available, as well as redistribute resources, which he may start utilizing. In fact, I think he's already used it once, maybe? And that victory point remains contested. Soviets are about to take the center as well. Once they have all three, the victory points will start ticking quite quickly against the Axis, and they're going to need to start fielding some better defenses here on the victory points. That being said, Susi has now massed 4 upgraded squads of infantry here, and they're going to be quite dangerous to Soviet team weapons, and especially PPSH conscripts. Probably not going to perform all that well against them on this map, especially. That field gun was woefully unsupported and will get stolen. It's definitely problematic. As I was saying before, AT is the name of the game when you have a Stuka. And they should be able to protect it quite nicely now that they have a stolen field gun. It doesn't really look like the Soviets are planning on getting a huge amount of tanks anytime soon. Zomby's clearly stalling for Collins. He's got 3 points to go before he can start bringing those in, and it looks like he's going to have the fuel for 3, roughly, by the time, with cooldown timers accounted for and everything, before he's got to stop production of those. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if manpower is his limiting reagent. That's a chemistry term. Anti-infantry strafe will suppress some team weapons over here, but the T-34 continues to be a serious problem, and a one-man flamethrower squad on the field gun's flank here could maybe take it out. I think that was a Soviet mortar. It totally was. That was such friendly fire. Or wait, no, it wasn't. What killed that? Where did that mortar come from? Oh, it was this thing. Wow, that's its only kill. mortar totally save that field gun, but it will get taken out anyway. The Stuka's firing on some stuff over here. Looks like it didn't get that many kills though. Oh wait, no, it destroyed that Maxim completely, so yes it did. That grenade completely missed. A pack is making its way to the front line to try and screen away this T-34. We've also got a full retreat from the front lines here. Looks like those grenadiers got suppressed, I guess, by something. Must have been retreating for some reason. The pack gets some nice damage off on the T-34, which will be forced to reposition, and our Raketen Warfare is making its way forward to try to apply yet more pressure. Fortunately, a Tier 4 structure has completed here, and it will prevent the recovery of that field gun by the Soviets. Axis should be able to get that back under their control. And over here on the right side, conscripts with their PPSH upgrade are actually going to successfully push away those Panzer Grenadiers, or wipe them. Almost. Oh no, he just wiped his own squad recruiting that Maxim. Why would he do that? That was an upgraded squad too. That was such a waste. New anti-tank gun on the field, probably going to be able to recover this Zisp gun pretty soon. That T-34 needs to get out of there. Looks like it should get to safety. Well, it's actually vulnerable to getting taken out by the Stuka now. Maxim up here on the left side getting focus fired down by LMG Grens quite easily. And there it goes.
One of our machine guns has been silenced.
Uh-oh.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
T-34 gets stuck on a tree. Conscript squad just got wiped. Nice mortar there will force a retreat from the Volksgrenadiers. I cannot believe that T-34 is still alive. That is lucky. LMGs are going to continue wiping various Soviet stuff. And anti-infantry strafe just got called in on these infantry here on the base for some reason. It didn't really do anything. It doesn't really do much damage. All it does is really suppress infantry formations. So there's not really any point in using it if you don't have a way to follow up. Not that he's hurting for munitions. He's got 362 munitions in the bank. Sturmovik being called in here on the center victory point to try and provide cover while they grab it. Or defend it, rather. It's actually still under their control. In fact, all of the VPs are, despite the huge losses they've been taking. Stuka Barrage doesn't do all that much, but they will be pushed out of the point by the machine gun there. Meanwhile, here on the left side, Soviets have moved up to try and recrew the mortar. They've got fresh Maxim. Hopefully they'll be able to get the victory point back under their control. Some LMG squads are going to be forced to retreat there. Mortar will get recovered. Rifle grenade going off. Inflicts 2 kills. That T-34 is just taking its own damage from a pack for no reason on the far side of the river. Really needs to be careful about that. And it's actually being provided vision by recon planes, I think.
We are losing a sector.
Fresh infantry moving up to try to force away some Soviet players here. T-34 needs to get repaired. Katyusha has been fielded and is going to be one of one of the more serious threats to the Axis team weapons here. This is glorious Katyusha bait right here. But the Soviets don't quite know about it yet. And Duke has actually chosen Lend-Lease instead of counterattack. I'm not sure I agree with that. I mean, Lend-Lease is great, but counterattack would be so good against what they're currently fighting. That being said, the Katyusha will still be able to serve quite nicely as indirect fire.
We have lost a pack gun.
Duke clears out a Maxim over there as well. But yeah, there you go. Katyusha gets the job done. 10 kills from the first barrage, very nice. And this map is all about long-range weaponry and indirect fire. Because it was really designed more as a 1v1 map than as a 2v2 map. 1v1 flanking is so much more possible. Because there are quite a lot of routes across the Central River. And it's impossible to cover all of them in a 1v1, but in a 2v2 there's a pretty decent chance that no matter where you try and cross, you're going to get blasted by LMGs or machine guns or whatever. Making it much more about indirect fire and long-range fights than about flanking and major close-range battles. Another flamethrower gets detonated by an MG here in the center, and a pretty scary blob is making its way straight down the middle. Sturmovik will lay suppressive fire down on some team weapons back here. It actually clears out that mortar, and these Volksgrenadiers are going to make their way over to the left by the look of things. And close-air support's actually very powerful against the Katyusha. The anti-tank strafe can arrive very quickly and potentially one-shot it. Stuka dive bombs also pretty scary in the right situations. Katyusha firing. Dealing huge damage. Forcing a forward retreat from those infantry squads that will now be at 13 kills, but what is that Sherman doing?
Additional resources are now available to your commander.
Recon pass trying to provide vision for that AT gun, but it's repositioning rather than firing. And there's only one AT gun over there. They really need to recover some more of those AT weapons. Although it sounds like a Stuka dive bomb is falling somewhere over here. I think it's probably not going to hit anything. It doesn't hit anything. Tank gets clear of the blast. And Stuka actually doesn't really do all that much there either. Kind of a lot of munitions just down the drain there, but he's just going to be able to continue redistributing his resources. Munitions are definitely not that much of a concern. And they've got 42 coming in, or he's got 42 coming in. His teammate has only 35. Munitions penalty. But he'll have no shortage of munitions. Probably be able to pretty much continue utilizing his planes for the entire rest of the game. It's also got four upgraded squads of infantry. Actually 5.
Ready! Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Throwing up some fuel caches here as well to boost his teammate's tank production, who's already purchasing himself a Panther in addition to his Stuka, which should definitely help against the tanks that are coming. Meanwhile, I thought Zomby was stalling for Collins, but I was wrong. He did go with the Katyusha, so he doesn't have as many T-34-85s as I thought he was going to. Having only one means that he can't really make a huge coordinated push to try and take out that Stuka. I think massing medium tanks would probably have been slightly more effective to try and get this thing off the field. But the Katyusha has definitely been doing quite nicely, so it is a trade-off, certainly. I think this Su-85 is kind of a strange purchase, though. I don't even know why he would purchase one of those. It performs well on this map, but I think a T-34 would be a more worthwhile purchase. But who knows, maybe it'll prove me wrong.
Assault gun
If they can get some good shots off against that Panther, it may effectively screen it. It's going to make it much more difficult for that Panther to get aggressive and push across the river.
Orders complete.
But it may not necessarily even be intending to do that.
We stand at 300 points.
Stuka continues to fire largely blind, and it's not really getting very impressive barrages off.
Stand ready.
Up to 17 kills. The Katyusha is probably going... Yeah, it's already outpaced it despite arriving to the field later. Panther is getting aggressive over here on the left side. There's a field gun as well as some various other stuff available to support. T-34's repairs haven't completed yet. It still has a damaged engine. That Panther could get taken down here, though. Main gun destroyed. Wow, that was a lucky break for that Panther. Su-85 moves up to try and seal the deal, but it's just a little too late. If it had just gotten here a tiny bit earlier, potentially could have finished that Panther off. Although it shouldn't have survived anyway. Main gun destroyed. That could just as easily have been an abandoned Panther that he handed over to the enemy. Tank strafe coming in on the AT gun will clear it out completely. It's not really just an anti-tank strafe, it's more of a general purpose strafe. It can kill pretty much anything. If it hits, the Panther is receiving repairs over here on the left side. The anti-tank strafe would probably be better utilized against that Stuka, which is apparently almost dead. I don't even know what happened to it. Probably with, I guess, a strafe of some kind. Hit it. If it takes damage from pretty much anything, it will pop like a balloon. And the Axis have maintained control of the right side and are going to continue their advance. AT gun and Panzer Shreks making their way forward to grab this munitions and will easily push away that T-34. Or destroy it if it doesn't keep moving. Barely manages to get away. Anti-infantry strafe suppressing these squads as a machine gun moves up to try and get the victory point back under control. And Panzer Shreks are trying to get in range. Flanking around the bushes here, will probably get caught by this base defense if they try to chase that T-34 though. Stuka firing over here on the left side inflicts pretty heavy casualties on an AT gun and a repairing conscript squad. Sherman's been fully repaired and is going to try to make its way forward. This pack has been cleared out. Sturm Pioneers will be in a bit of danger, but the Panther is making its way forward to screen. Stuka oh jeez, Stuka dive bomb falling here in the base. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, that wasn't that bad. I didn't do anything. Inflicted some minor casualties on the Maxim. It was a little bit off target. If that had been aimed at that Sherman, it would have easily destroyed it. This Sherman, however, doesn't appear to be reacting to the fact that a Panther is shooting at it. And there it goes. Okay. Support definitely did not arrive in time. If I were Duke, I would just stop making T-34s and just make Shermans for the rest of the game. Maybe he has been. I'm honestly surprised he made any T-34s at all. If he had just made nothing but M4C Shermans, instead of even going tier 3, he could have had like 5 of them by now. And he would easily be able to overwhelm this Panther and probably storm the Axis base, take out the Stukas. So, somewhat questionable decision. T-34 is not nearly as good as the Lend-Lease Sherman. That being said, I feel like even with the medium armor force he has now, he could easily take this on. I mean, there's not that much over here that could stop him. If he would just charge the left side, he could kill everything so easily. The only thing he'd really have to be careful of are the planes, anti-tank strafe. But they seem to be pretty tied up, working on threats over here on the left side. Soviet player definitely playing way more defensively than he needs to be. I mean, it's kind of a shame he threw that Sherman away for no reason, but even with the forces he has, I think he could easily destroy that Stuka and probably clear out most of the infantry over here on the left side. course, one of the most difficult things to know in this game is when to push and when not to. And without being able to see the things that we can see without fog of war, it's much less obvious what's waiting over there to destroy your tanks if you do make a push. And making a bad push and losing all of your stuff can be just as fatal as just not pushing at all. Or worse. But of course, as allies, it's important to remember that if you don't keep up the aggression, it's basically just a matter of time until you lose the game. Well, not as allies, but as allies that haven't picked a late game commander, I guess is a more accurate statement, which neither of them really has. There's no IS-2s coming, there's no B4, there's no really powerful late game potential in either of these commanders, other than the ability to mass a zillion late game tanks, but not as powerful as guard motor coordination, for example, having marked vehicles. In order to mass tanks, you can't let them get picked off like this. There it goes. Sherman goes down. Panther getting very aggressive. Where are the defenses? This needs to be screened and punished. Katyusha also gets taken out for free. They're trying to respond to this. Panther does have its rear armor faced towards a bunch of medium armor, and it will get taken down. So, not a terrible trade, but not a great one either for either side, I guess. Losing that Panther is very costly. It was Vet 2. That definitely hurts. But he's got another one in production, and the enemy Stuka has been destroyed, as well as that Sherman. That was probably worth it. Considering he has another one on the way, he's not going to lose a whole lot of field presence. It's a shame that it went down. But at the same time, he took out some really high priority targets. And we'll have a fresh replacement. Nice pickup there by that T-34 though, taking out that Stern Pioneer squad. Meanwhile, the victory points still remain pretty even, as they tend to on crossing in the woods. It's pretty rare for either side to get shut down all that hard because just of the way the map is laid out. It's extremely difficult to triple cap your opponent for any significant amount of time. Crossing that river is just so deadly.
The ultimate sacrifice.
Fires over here on the left side. I think it was firing blind again. Didn't really connect. Only 20 kills on that Stuka in a 33-minute game. It definitely has not been as impressive as it could have been. But we're still blobbing up over here on the left side, trying to get across the river. Taking sustained fire from T-34 and Maxim. Panther, the Fresh Panther is moving up to try to support, but they're taking heavy casualties. One squad, both squads just got completely wiped out. They suicidally attempted to cross. Panther's taking heavy damage, but it will snipe the T-34 at long range before attempting to retreat. Field gun shot bounces. There's nothing here that can throw an AT grenade or otherwise damage that thing's engine. The T-34 is attempting to chase. But that shot on the rear armor just bounced. Oh, but the field gun manages to snipe it before it can get away, and another Panther just goes down. For no reason. But it looks like Susi is going to catch this Su-85, finally. And it will be destroyed, bringing him down now to only his T-34. And Katyusha should be able to bring in another T-34 pretty soon. He just lacks the manpower currently, but he's got quite a large fuel reserve. And Duke actually has quite a bit of fuel as well, probably thinking about getting himself another Sherman. And again, with that Panther destroyed, the left side is left pretty much completely undefended from a medium armor swarm, which could definitely make its way across to kill this Stuka. There's very little anti-tank over there. In fact, as far as anti-tank, the only thing the Axis have are, well, okay, they have actually got 2 Panzer squads. I guess I hadn't thought about that. And 2 packs. So Susi has a huge amount of AT, actually, but iPe7er has none to defend his Stuka.
Ready for action. Enemy flanking us. Crew taking fire. Standing here, ready for action. Enemy fighter. Taking effective fire.
Sturmovik clears out infantry on the victory point, preventing its capture. T-34 is taking fire from a pack across the river and will have to reposition again. Meanwhile, here on the left side, more Obersoldaten have been fielded to try to take victory point, but they get focused down yet again by all of these tanks, high explosive barrage. So, not going so well for iPe7er here on the left side. Pretty much every squad that he sends to this victory point instantly dies. Soviet player playing quite defensively with his tanks, which on one hand means that Stuka continues to live, but on the other hand it means every time this victory point is contested, he kills a squad, so that's definitely something. We've also got a second Katyusha by the look of things, inflicting huge damage on infantry here in the middle. I think Susi may have just lost a full squad. Yeah, he did. Lost a full squad, barely gets away with the second one, gives his opponent a Panzer, so that indirect fire is becoming very deadly. That's 2 Katyushas he just fielded instead of more T-34s, I guess. He has already lost 1 Katyusha. His T-34s just got taken out, though. I think that might be it. I don't know. Died somewhere, so he's now utilizing only indirect fire. He's completely run out of tanks. Another flamethrower gets burst by Volksgrenadiers, of all things. The squad will go down. Sherman is attempting to engage them. Oh no! The stolen Panzer squad just got wiped. He just gave it right back. Jeez, there's just squad wipes everywhere on this battlefield. Flamethrower squad barely makes it away. That Panzer still has not been recovered. Looks like we're finally going to see a little bit of aggression here from Duke, who creeps across the river with 1 squad of conscripts and recovers a pack. There's just so much stuff over here. I'm surprised the OKW hasn't salvaged any of this. They haven't even recovered this field gun. There are team weapons littering this battlefield and tank carcasses. And Susi is floating 1,000 manpower? Should probably spend that on something. Recon pass goes over the Soviet base and he drops a stupid dive bomb somewhere. Which apparently did nothing. Stuka firing. This is an oddly quiet battlefield for 40 minutes into the game. Due mostly to the Soviets' unnecessarily conservative playstyle.
Upgrade complete.
Setting up tons of defenses here on the left side when he really needs to be pushing and shutting down OKW production, getting the Schwerer Panzer headquarters off the field before it can make this 3rd Panther, getting that Stuka off the field, applying pressure to the Oster base. and alleviating pressure from the right side, which his teammate is clearly struggling to hold.
Ready for further orders. Enemy flanking us! Infantry! Cut them down!
AT weapons will prevent that Panther from making any suicidal charges, as they have in the past. Katyusha is firing on defenses here in the center to free it up to be captured, but actually there's not really anything available to follow up. We do have an anti-tank strafe getting called in on this T-34. Oh, it missed. It was angled perpendicular to the T-34's path. Unfortunately. Stuka fires on some team weapons across the river. We'll clear them out. It's up to 29 kills now, slowly starting to ramp up. I think it should probably have way more than that by now. But really the key to utilizing it effectively is vision, which they have not been able to maintain for all that long.
Under fire! Anti-tank battery spotted us!
And various things need repairs here in the Soviet base. These Katyushas are dangerously close to the edge of the map. By being close to the edge of the map, they leave themselves extremely vulnerable to a recon and anti-tank strafe combination. And Axis infantry are attempting to cross the river and maintain control of this munitions point. And anti-infantry strafe will suppress that Maxim. Plane just got shot down, but I don't think it landed on anything, fortunately, this time. And a Panther is moving up to screen away a medium armor push here on the left side for Kettenwerfer for supporting. Lots of stuff, however, makes it very dangerous for that Panther, which will pull back to safety. But it will get taken down by the field gun. And there goes a third Panther. At least he attempted to retreat with his front armor facing towards his opponent that time, but it's penetrated anyway. Vet 1 field gun just got lucky, I guess, even at that range. Vic trying to force a retreat from the nose. Volksgrenadiers will succeed. In combination with 2 high explosive barrages, one from each player.
The enemy has killed another infantry squad.
And a Stuka clears out some infantry there in the center, but they will be able to get the victory point back under their control. It's currently 100 victory points to 260. Soviets have a significant lead, but
standing by for orders. Reporting objective capture.
Are definitely losing control of the battlefield. Even their cutoff immediately outside their base is currently being taken. Anti-tank strafe coming in. Doesn't do too much though. It's largely dodged, and we also have a stupid dive bomb landing somewhere, wiping out a conscript squad, but not much anything else. And this Panzerschreck still hasn't been recovered by either team. Maybe they don't see it or something, I don't know. There's so many little white circles on the ground that they've probably just are now ignoring them.
We have a new T-34 standing by.
Fresh T-34 being called in, bringing up to 2 T-34s, 2 Katyushas. Which he really is not even firing. He really needs to move up and fire these Katyushas at something. Enemy AT guns would be a good start, clearing the way for medium armor push by both players. If they were to coordinate their forces, they have 2 Lend-Lease Shermans and 2 T-34-85s they can charge with. Again, barely anything over here that can stop them besides AT guns. If used in combination with the Katyusha, they would probably easily just steamroll everything. I don't know why they don't make an aggressive push. What are they waiting for?
Sturmovik close air support is available. Under attack!
Pretty sure iPe7er has had fuel transfer on for pretty much the entire game because he's purchased like one Panzerschreck, which is why he's able to continue cranking out Panthers. I'm surprised he doesn't transition into King Tigers, would probably work just as well. Or a Sturm Tiger. Sturm Tigers are actually pretty good on crossing in the woods. At this point, why the hell not? He's clearly struggling more with team weapons than with enemy tanks. Sturm Tiger would have no problem dealing with Zis guns and field guns and stuff, and it would destroy them entirely instead of just decrewing them, and they would no longer be littering the field. But I guess getting a Sturm Tiger and a Stuka in the same game is just a little too ridiculous. Field gun gets cleared out there. Massed AT weapons will prevent the crossing by these two T-34s. This T-34 trying to circle a Rakettenwerfer to death. Looks like it will probably succeed. It is Vet 2. Maybe. Rakettenwerfer attempting to retreat. Volksgrenadiers there, trying to get control of the victory point again. But they're taking sustained fire from these tanks, and I think that's the 4th Panther this game will hit the field. Firing across the river. There goes another squad. He actually did capture that point. He just didn't retreat, and then they died. So much for that Vet Panzerschreck squad. I guess it didn't really want it that badly. Flanking Panzerschrecks do take out one of the T-34s here, and will continue to advance. Those Katyushas will need to reposition away and get to safety. Tanks that could support in the center, just kind of sitting over here. 2 Shermans and a T-34. Whatever.
Well done.
No big deal.
Force the enemy down to 200 points.
Soviets now have 200 points remaining. One of the Shermans does move to support. Takes a pretty big burst of damage from those Panzerschrecks. We go down here. Continue to reposition away to safety. A fresh Sherman gets called in to try to deal with them, moving for the crush. Doesn't quite get it though. T-34 re-engages as well. And they will be forced to retreat. And a lot of Soviet tanks are now awaiting repairs over here on the left side. Big push of infantry here across the left side.
That's everyone. Grenadiers ready. Standing by. Resources available.
That was weird. The Stuka just stopped firing for some reason.
Prepare for combat.
Dive bomb could be landing on these Katyushas. What are they doing? Oh, that kind of missed actually. And it only abandoned this one, so it's actually probably going to get recovered. Although it looks like it's inflicting a zillion casualties over here. Ouch. A Sherman finally actually makes a push to try and take out that Stuka, but it immediately retreats from the Panther. Plus a Rakettenwerfer is on its flank. Looks like it could go down here. And again, when he only brings one tank, rather than swarming with all of his tanks, it rather limits his offensive capabilities, and then it just gets picked off. So yeah, not the best push. Left or right side is now pretty much undefended by anything other than this single MG42, although it looks like Zombie's forces have been reduced so severely that he doesn't really have much of an ability to push anymore. He has got 600 manpower though, so he could probably bolster his infantry forces if he wanted to. Although having access basically only to conscripts and team weapons makes him quite vulnerable to the Stuka. And he doesn't have shock troops available to him to give him access to smoke grenades.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
So it does make things more difficult.
T-34 ready for combat.
Massed anti-tank infantry here on the left side, blobbing forward, will start clearing out all of these Soviet tanks, which are not being utilized all that effectively. Katyushas really need fire to screen away that infantry advance. Although apparently this one Sherman was enough to convince them to retreat, I guess. I don't know actually why they just retreated, that was weird. T-34 just got wiped out over there as well. Everything the Soviets have is just getting picked off left and right. Zomby now has only, what, one T-34. His Katyushas are still alive, but having only one T-34 is a problem. This Sherman is the only thing left at Duke's disposal. Fortunately, they have killed so many of iPe7er's Panthers that he doesn't really have anything with which he can storm the left side and overwhelm his positions. He's also lost so many infantry squads that he doesn't have anything to clear out the AT guns either. Stuka dive bomb, pretty off target again. He's having a lot of trouble landing those just right. Katyushas are firing. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh wow, that Katyusha barrage, double barrage on the base right immediately after that full retreat brings Susi down to only 3 infantry squads remaining out of his, what, 6? That was painful. This Panther is out for revenge. And he gets it. Takes out both Katyushas, I think. Yeah, there's the other one. So the Katyusha will kill, or the Katyushas will kill a huge amount of infantry, but the Panther avenges their deaths, for whatever that's worth. Destroying both before finally making a safe retreat. This is the only Panther to charge across the river and not get destroyed immediately thereafter, so good job. Good job, Panther driver. You did it. Some forces here on the left side engaging. With Sturmovik support, we'll be able to push away a few squads and get this under control, although apparently a ton of stuff is getting called in. The Axis as well. Anti-tank strafe inflicts huge damage to that Sherman, and it gets taken out, I think, with a tier 4 structure and a Stuka and an anti-infantry strafe. Almost kills everything, but one brave combat engineer with a flamethrower and one conscript do remain to try to get this victory point under control. Meanwhile, on the left side, another of iPe7er's infantry squads gets wiped with Panzerschreck as he attempts to take the center to apparently a Maxim and a Molotov and a mortar. But still a decent amount of Soviet defenses over here. A pack is about to get recruited, trying to screen away another Panther. I think this is Panther number 5, which is now exposing its rear armor to a Sherman and a pack. A Katyusha fires on the center to prevent its capture. Stupid dive bomb, however, is getting called in over here, probably on these. And the mortar and field gun will both be completely wiped out. At the cost of yet another Panther.
Standing by. Crew, stand ready.
I can't believe this Duke only has 36 kills. It's almost an hour into the game. How do you miss all of these team weapons over here? I guess it just didn't have vision.
Squad back to full strength.
Flamethrower's probably not going to survive this, despite both of these squads being upgraded with Panzerschrecks. There's still 4 people with STG-44s firing, so that combat engineer squad really stood no chance. Was forced to retreat.
Unit ready. MG-42 mounted and ready. Task complete.
Field gun gets cleared out again. Soviets are just
Enemy fire!
on their last legs here. It's a miracle that they've survived this long, honestly.
Prepare yourselves!
Victory points have finally pulled even, and the Germans are going to start pulling ahead very soon. The more they triple cap their opponents, the shorter this game is going to be, or the rest of this game, I should say. It's been a pretty classic crossing in the woods slugfest otherwise, though. Which, honestly, I think the Soviets should have won several times over, but they just never coordinated a proper push. And all of their medium armor just got picked off, one tank at a time, slowly by anti-tank strafes, Panzerschrecks. And that's really the difference between the Soviets and the Germans this game. The Soviets utilized teamwork. I mean, I couldn't count the number of bad plays that iPe7er made this game, but all they had to do was coordinate their pushes and take out priority targets. And their opponents never really did that, and that I think is going to ultimately be what ends up losing the Soviets this game, unless they somehow make some miraculous comeback from this point, which I don't really know how they would do.
Taking fire! Taking fire!
Sherman attempting to push away infantry over here with field gun support. Stuka will take the gun out almost. Not quite. This Volksgrenadier is probably going to finish the job. There it goes. Sherman moving to try and screen them away, but with the field gun cleared, this Panther should have no problem dealing with everything there. This Katyusha is firing on something. Wow, the entire battlefield is just craters. Craters everywhere. So much indirect fire this game. And this Panzerschreck blob is actually so big that it can effectively screen away infantry.
Objective secured!
Katyushas have already fired, so they should be pretty much all clear to advance. How many Katyushas has Zomby made this game? A lot. If only he could have kept them alive.
Brave infantry have made the ultimate sacrifice. We are losing supplies to the enemy.
Panzerschreck's trying to just waltz right into the Soviet base, fire a volley at the machine gun bunker, which does like nothing. And they will get pinned. Probably just trying to provide vision for some kind of airstrike. Really wants to take out those Katyushas. The anti-tank strafe, unfortunately, is nowhere near hitting that Katyusha. And a Stuka dive bomb is getting called in on the suppressed infantry. But it doesn't matter, the game's over. GG, Axis wins. I really think that, well, whatever, there's no such thing as an hour-long game where no mistakes were made. So, that's my final comments on this one. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.